Hey fam, welcome to Southern Vows. My name is Aaron Jamel, also known as Mr. Say I Do, and I'm glad you're here. I've been thinking about some things lately. Why does Christian dating sometimes feel harder than dating before I gave my life to Christ? Maybe you're asking the same question. You want to honor God, you want to do things His way, but sometimes it feels like everyone else is moving faster. Their relationships seem easier, they seem happier, and if we're not careful, we can begin wondering if God's design is actually making relationships more difficult. But I don't think that's what's happening at all. I think God is exposing something that we confused for intimacy. Looking back at my own life, I realized something. Before I was following Christ, physical intimacy often created the feeling that everything in the relationship was okay. Not because our problems disappeared, but because they became easier to ignore. There were conversations that we should have had, boundaries we should have discussed, character issues we should have addressed, questions about purpose, faith, commitment, the future. Yet, physical intimacy had a way of making us feel closer. That those conversations, well, they could wait, but eventually they couldn't wait because feelings can cover problems for a season, but they can't heal them. When I began really following Christ, something changed. The shortcut was gone. And honestly, that felt frustrating at times. Without physical intimacy carrying the relationship, we had to learn something much harder: how to communicate, how to disagree with respect, how to apologize, how to wait, how to build trust, and how to discover whether we truly share the same vision for following Christ. I realized God wasn't trying to make relationships harder. He was just removing the things that could keep us from building something deeper. In Genesis 2, before sin entered the world, God created marriage. The first relationship wasn't built on passion alone, it was built on God's design. Then Jesus reminds us what God joins together, no one should separate. And Paul tells us in Ephesians 5 that marriage reflects Christ and his church. Think about that. God did not invent marriage around sex. He designed sex to fit inside his design for marriage. That changes the entire perspective. Sex isn't the foundation. It's one beautiful expression of a covenant that's already been built on trust, commitment, sacrifice, and love. God isn't trying to keep intimacy from us. He's protecting intimacy from becoming disconnected from the covenant he designed it for. But one thing I learned is this: when physical intimacy is removed from the relationship, you begin to discover what your relationship is really built on. Can we enjoy each other's company without constant physical affection? Can we have hard conversations without running away? Can we encourage each other's faith? Can we handle conflict in a healthy way? Can we trust God together when we don't get what we want right away? Those questions reveal something much more than just chemistry. They reveal character, and character is what carries marriage long after the excitement of the honeymoon fades. So maybe Christian dating doesn't feel harder because God is taking something away. Maybe it feels different because he's building something stronger. He's teaching us that intimacy isn't just about being physically known. It's about being emotionally known, spiritually known, truthfully known. And ultimately, it's about learning to love one another in a way that reflects Christ. So this week, instead of asking, how close do we feel? Ask, what foundation are we building? Because physical intimacy can make you feel connected for a moment, but only Christ can build the kind of intimacy that lasts a lifetime. All right, that's all I have. Leave a comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Remember, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you at the top.